Gunlord was released 7 years ago for the Neo Geo and Sega Dreamcast. It received a lot of praise at that time and even was awarded Game of the Year 2012 by Mark from Classic Game Room. The game was created by NGDEVTEAM, which was founded by brothers Tim and Renee Helvig. Gunlord was the third game that this team had developed. Prior to it, they'd released Last Hope and Fast Striker, which were both shooter games released on Neo Geo consoles and the Sega Dreamcast. Gunlord was originally planned to be ported to the 3DS, Wii U, and PC by the way of crowdfunding. This campaign was canceled a short while later as they thought the interest in the campaign wasn't very high. Maybe this was due to less people being aware of Indiegogo, crowdfunding in general, or just the idea of backing a video game via crowdfunding wasn't as big a thing as it is now. The game was also being planned to be ported to the Coleco Chameleon. Yeah, we all know what happened with that scam. So Gunlord seemed to be a game that would stay on those legacy consoles and be out of reach for many people for years. That is, until now. Now titled Gunlord X, the game is available to be played on the Nintendo Switch. And this is not a simple port. It includes a lot of improvements and additional content. The improvements and additions of the original version include levels have been enlarged with more areas to find secrets and other challenges. They've added 4 new bosses to the game, and there's a new jetpack stage with the style of a horizontal shooter. You can earn continues by collecting the large diamonds in each stage, and there's auto-saving of level progression so you can restart from the last level you lost on. There's a new accomplishments and statistics screen that show you your scores, large diamonds found, and more. They've added a 16:9 widescreen support to the game. They put scan lines and options for them included for the visuals. You guys know I'm not a big fan of scan lines, but you can have them on or off, and there's options for them, so hey, nice to have that. They've also increased the sprites and particle effects, and the utilization of alpha blending for special effects have been implemented, and they've also added new parallax scrolling elements to each stage. They also have new improved controls and control schemes, including the ability to customize controls. You have a twin stick mode for independent movement, shooting and aiming separately, and a more classic mode, or you can also, change up the buttons however you choose. They've also improved the difficulty curve of the game, balanced the weapons, added a new game plus mode for those who complete it, and amazingly and awesomely, the game runs at 60 FPS in both docked and undocked mode for the Switch version. And we also get an HD rumble feature for those who want to feel the action. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I spoke about Mark from Classic Game Room earlier, but he said it best back when he reviewed the original game in 2012.
What happens when Mega Turrican meets Super Metroid meets the Sega Dreamcast? It's as good as it sounds. Gunlord.
Now, this was my first impression of the game from playing just the first few stages initially. After coming off of playing Super Turrican Director's Cut and Ultra Core on Analog's latest consoles, I was blown away by what I was seeing and playing with Gunlord X. The game definitely is heavily inspired by the style and gameplay of Turrican. And I also got the feel of Super Metroid due to a lot of the enemy sprites looking as if they were inspired by enemies from the planet Zebes. But not just that, there's also a lot of side tracking and exploration you could do to find weapon upgrades and the really useful large diamonds, as there's a specific amount in each stage that are hidden. The game's controls felt very good to me and are smooth as butter. I played using the classic preset mode and had no issues quickly learning what all the buttons do, how everything functions, and just becoming very comfortable with it. Using the modern or twin stick mode didn't feel natural to me, so I didn't really spend much time with it, but I can see it being the preferred way to play for some people. There's also a few moves you can do in the game, such as turning into a wheel, which allows you to roll around to access tight spots, drop bombs, or quickly traverse certain areas. You can also do a side flash move that shoots an energy beam in both directions, and you also have a wave beam or snake beam, I've seen it called different things, that you can aim in a stationary position that seems fairly useful for some of the bosses and enemies in each stage. Both the wave beam and the wheel move use up your purple energy. It's a bar that's located in the middle of the bottom screen. This energy bar does replenish while not in use, so you can continue to use these moves when you need them. While the original Gunlord was definitely a great looking game in my opinion, this version has greatly improved the visuals with all the additional effects and improvements. The game is one of the more eye-pleasing 2D games I've experienced in a long time. The music and sound effects are also very well done. While not exactly memorable to me, the music was pretty good and it fit the game design in my opinion. Just didn't really stand out and, hold a lasting impression on me. It was good, just not something that I'm gonna remember. Now, the difficulty for this game, it can be a mixed bag depending upon how you approach the game. If you're unfamiliar with the levels and enemies, you will die a lot. If you think you could just rush into things and just jump into it and you're not accustomed to this style of game, you'll die a lot. The game definitely accommodates speedrunning for those who are familiar with the game, but if it's your first time playing a game like this in a while, definitely take it a little slow at first. You might find some instant deaths occasionally, but for me, they never really felt cheap. Anytime I died in this game, it was always immediately apparent that it was my fault for rushing, not paying attention, or just making a stupid mistake. No cheap deaths in my eyes. Now, despite having a lot of secrets in different areas in each stage, the game just does not allow you to get lost. You always know which way you need to go, even though you're traveling every possible direction in each stage. The levels are designed to where it's always showing you where you need to go, but you could kind of, sidetrack that. You could, diverge from the actual path you need to go down, which gives you a lot of secrets, different weapons, and things you can find, and really increases the replayability in my eyes. With Gunlord X being a port of a game that definitely had an arcade feel to it, it's not a long game at all. That could be a pro or a con, just depends upon what kind of gamer you are. For those who are good at this type of game, you most likely will complete it in 1 to 2 hours. Now, exploring everything, getting all the large diamonds, keeping track of those accomplishments, finding all the secrets, adds a lot of replayability. With the New Game Plus mode and the ability to go back to the stages you've completed, this definitely seems to be a game that will appeal to those wanting to speedrun it, learn all the ins and outs, and quickest routes. Now, I've really enjoyed playing this game, and so far it's one of my top favorites released on the Switch in 2019. I love the retro feel and style of this game. I never got the opportunity to play the original version and have only seen it in videos, so it was really awesome to see this game being released in a new updated version with updated visuals and features. I really hope this becomes the norm for NGDEVTEAM releases, as they have put out a lot of awesome games in the past, and they continue to work on future titles such as Krautbuster. I would love to see that being more accessible to people in the future. Release your past library of games, release your newer games, get them out there for everybody to play. There's always going to be those people who want those Neo Geo releases for the AES or MVS, but man, give it a little while, release it for those, and then port it to whatever the current consoles and PC are at the, put it out on Steam and whatnot. I think that would be great. Accessibility, making that money, why not? Just makes sense in my eyes. So this game, Gunlord X, it's available May 22nd, 2019 on the Nintendo Switch eShop for what I consider a very fair price of $9.99. The download's 136 megabytes for those of you, trying to conserve your space for digital, games. I haven't heard of any physical release for this, but man, a nice limited edition physical package of this game would be welcome to my collection if it ever happened. That's for sure. So hey, really do appreciate all you guys watching. Thanks for hanging out, and a big thanks to the NGDEVTEAM for allowing me to play this game early for purpose of review. If they hadn't sent it to me, I would definitely be buying this game. $10, for a game that just is this awesome, hey, I would have done it in a heartbeat. So just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and impressions. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye.